Senator Franken, welcome to Mogadishu Times.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Senator, you came here to meet the Somali American community. What was the meeting about?
Well, it was really mostly about addressing the famine in Somalia and what we can do about it in Washington, what the U.S. government's doing about it, about getting, NGOs to be able to deliver relief, and then just my hearing what the situation is on the ground from folks here who've been there, and my being able to answer some questions and my getting information and establishing beyond this, continuing to work with my office on this issue.
Senator, you and Senator Amy Klobuchar, along with two other senators, called the United States to increase its efforts to assist the famine victims. What has changed since that?
Well, we've increased the amount of aid that just announced today. I think another $23 million in grants from AID, USAID. One of the things that I did immediately after a meeting with American Refugee Committee and meeting with members of the Somali diaspora, members of the Somali Minnesota community, was to call Hillary Clinton, Secretary Clinton, and make sure that the threat of prosecution of NGOs for giving aid to terrorists was lifted. I mean, because of Shabab's presence in southern Somalia, there was the worry by NGOs that they would run afoul of existing law, which is that NGOs can't give aid and assistance to terrorist organizations, and by virtue of either having to pay bribes or giving them food, which is what you may have to do if you're confronted with that situation if you're an NGO. So I talked to Secretary Clinton, and she pretty much immediately waived that and made it easier for NGOs to go in and deliver food in southern Somalia.
The United States has spent more than $600 million in Somalia, and the people are still dying. WFP said about half of the food supplied donated to Somalia are regularly stolen and sold in the local market. Senator, in order to assist the aid organizations in delivering food safely, would the United States support more troops for Somalia?
I spoke to this in our meeting today, which is that because of the history of Black Hawk Down and because of our involvements in Iraq and Afghanistan, which have nothing to do, of course, with Somalia, or tangentially because of the Shabab and Al Qaeda connection with Afghanistan. Because of that history, it is going to be very, very hard for Americans to want to send troops there. That's originally why we sent troops back in 1992 and 93, which was because a lot of the aid for famine was being stolen, right? And so, the appetite for that among the American people, I'm not saying that isn't what we should be doing, but I don't see getting a majority of my colleagues on board on that. I can certainly bring it up in Congress, and I can raise that in Congress.
Senator Al-Shabaab is controlling the regions that are most affected by the famine. Millions of people are at risk in these regions. How is the United States government going to help those people?
Well, what I'm trying to get today from the participants in this roundtable discussion is an assessment of what Shabab's take is on food coming into to their region that they control. And the answer I got back was that depending on who the NGO is and who's delivering the food, they do allow it through. And so, as you said, that a lot of the food is stolen, but I don't know who's stealing it, and it sounds like some of it's being stolen in Mogadishu, where Al-Shabaab has no real presence. But that was part of the when I talked to the American Refugee Committee a few weeks ago. There was the sort of the understanding that the Somali diaspora has this kind of a special relationship and is a special resource to those who are giving aid to the United States and everybody who's providing assistance because they have access to, they can call family and friends who live in those areas and find out what is happening on the ground and facilitate the deliverance of food assistance. And I think that's a very special role that the Somali Minnesota community can play.
What do you think when you see the pictures of children dying in Somalia?
It's heartbreaking.
Thank you very much, Senator.